Have you ever received something that was beyond your wildest imaginations? Maybe win the lottery? Good morning, guys and girls. This is an extra day for your life that God has given you. February 29, the extra day that we only get once every 4 years. Leap year, they call it, leap year. So we'll just leap in here and talk about the catch of the day. Now, those of you that have the Catch of the Day book have noticed already, if you're following along with us here on our Catch of the Day on our YouTube channel, you'll notice that there is no February 29th. I don't know what happened. The year that I wrote that book, there evidently was not a February 29th. And so we have no February 29th in there. So I told Pat Turner, who runs our production company, I told my wife, Chris, well, I will write a Catch of the Day for February 29th, and then I'll just go ahead and read it, and we'll have the February 29th done. But I've been really, really busy running all around the country doing shows and appearances and trying to sneak in a little fishing. Snuck in almost none during this month of February. But March has got quite a few days. I think I got about 10 days appearances. The rest of the month, I'm going to be fishing quite a little bit. Probably be a couple, 2 or 3 more appearances get booked before the month is over. But anyway, March is going to be a lot of fishing. April's going to be a lot of fishing. May's going to be a lot of fishing. We're going to fish quite a bit. But for those of you that have not yet had a birthday in 2020, you have one extra day in your life, one entirely complete day. Use it for God. Use that one day for God. Use it to make everyone you come in contact with a better person. Say something nice to them, smile at them, say something sweet to them. Don't criticize, don't spread gossip, don't rumor, don't lie to them, don't do any of that bad stuff. Just use that day to do all the stuff that God wants you to do. So that'll be good. Those of you that already had a birthday between January 1 till the end of February, that'll be January, February birthdays, you have another day before your next birthday. And that day's today. So you got a day too. So everybody gets an extra day added to their life. And you probably have figured out I have not written the Catch of the Day for the 29th. So I thought I'd just wing it. I told Chris, I said, I think I'll just wing it. I'll do a scripture, and let me pick out one of the scriptures that I love, because this is from Ephesians. It's 3:20, and it's one of those scriptures. I've got a lot of scriptures that are my favorites, and y'all already figured that out. But I have a couple that I really hang my hat on, a couple that and I don't wear a hat, but I really live my life and with those two scriptures. And one of them is Ephesians 3:20, and it says, God has the power to do exceedingly abundantly more than you can ever ask or think of. In other words, God has the power to do more than you can ask Him for. He's got the power to do more than you could ever think of. In other words, beyond your wildest imaginations. God has the power to do more beyond your wildest imaginations. You know, as a kid, I fished and hunted all the time. I grew up around Moore, Oklahoma. My dad and my 2 uncles, Gene and John, my granddad would take me fishing every time they went fishing. So I grew up in a aluminum boat fishing. I grew up walking up and down the rivers fishing in creeks. I grew up fishing every little piece of water around my house. We had ponds in every direction. I would ride my bicycle to those ponds pretty much every single day when I got off the school bus and go fishing. And I fished and fished and fished and fished. Now, did I have my sights set on being a professional fisherman? Did I have my sights set on 40-some-odd years plus in the television show business? Did I have my sights set on winning tournaments and Angler of the Year titles? Absolutely not. Those things were beyond my wildest imaginations. But God knew. God had the power to perform those things in my life. I remember back one time after I got out of college, after I graduated from college, and we started selling insurance, and I had a really good year. You know, a couple of years after I started, I had a really good year, and I visited with my grandma, and I was visiting with her, and she said, "How are you doing in your business? Are you making a living, son? Are you being able to, pay the bills for your wife and daughter, your baby?" And I said, "Grandma, you're not going to believe it, but I made $30,000 this year." And she said, "Wow, that's a lot of money." Now, my granddad drove a taxi cab. And I can remember him coming in and laying all the change that he had got from that day's tips. Now we give Uber drivers $10 tips and $5 tips and everything. But his tips would be nickels and dimes and quarters. And he had all this money he'd lay out on the table when he came in. And I was so impressed because as a little kid, that was just an awful lot of money. It wasn't much money at all. And my grandma said, wow, that is amazing. I said, let me tell you what, Grandma, I think next year, I think I can make $50,000 in this business. And she said, oh my gosh, that'd just be amazing. That's it. And I didn't even tell that to my mom and dad. I didn't even share that with Chris. I thought it was sort of sounding like bragging or boasting. But I was just that's just what I thought I could do. And I did talk to God about it and said, give me the ability, give me the power, give me the ability to work 100 hours a week that it took to do that. And that doesn't sound like a lot of money in today's time, but back then, you got to realize I graduated from college in 1966, so that's like 68 or 69. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And I was just sort of ashamed to talk to my parents or my wife about that, but I could talk to my grandma. Grandmas and granddads are the best people in the whole world. They are absolutely the best people in the whole world. You grandmas and granddads out there that's watching this, they are the best people in the entire world. I know I'm a granddad. I know that. I've got grandkids that'll tell you that too. They'll tell you that my granddad and my grandma are the best people in the whole world, without a doubt. And so, but I could share that with my grandma. I could share that. But the amazing thing I think about, and thinking about that verse that really didn't mean a whole lot to me when I got out of college. It wasn't a verse that I was living my life by any stretch of the imagination. But God probably just grinned and laughed. And he said, $50,000. I've had the power to do more than you could ever think or imagine. Beyond your wildest imaginations, I have the power to do this, Jimmy. And it's so amazing because, I've had fishing tournaments where I've won in excess of $50,000 in one tournament. I actually had a one-day deal, a one-day tournament. It's called a Fins game, where there was some of us and we fished these holes, and it was like the skins game in golf, and we was worth so much money. And they gave away $70,000 in that first Fins game. And I think I won more money than everybody else put together in the 4 or 5 Fins games that we had. It was a made-for-television event. But that first Fins game, the holes started out at $2,500, and the second was $5,000, the third $75,000, $10,000, I think 15 and 20 and 30 or what. But anyway, $70,000 were given away. Roland Martin wins the first 2 holes, one $2,500 and one $5,000. So Roland Martin, after 2 hours fishing, had won $7,500. And guess who won all the other holes? I won all the other holes. And so I won $62,500 in one day. Not a 3-day tournament or a classic or an FLW championship. One day, I won $62,500. And I was telling my grandma, I was kind of bragging to her, making $30,000. Grandma, I think I can make $50,000. And God was saying, Jimmy, you haven't seen my power. You don't know that I can do increasingly abundantly more than you can ever ask or think for. Beyond your wildest imaginations, beyond your wildest dreams. Now, I'm not saying all this to brag. What I'm saying is God has the power to do more than you can ever ask him for or think about. So dream big. Have big imaginations. Have big ask when you talk to God about what you want. And money's a small part of it, to be honest with you. I ask for health, and God's given it to me. I ask for a great family relationship, and God's given it to me. I ask for great kids and grandkids, and God's given them to me. There's so many of you out there that need far more different things than money, things that are far more important to you than money could ever be. But God has the power to do increasingly and abundantly more than you can ever ask or think of. So dream big, think big. Think about the things that you want in your life, your family's life. Some of you out there are single. Some of you guys are looking for that little Indian girl 200 miles away down in Cherokee County that God put on my mountaintop of blessings when I got saved at 12 years old. I believe that. And she was just a little 9-year-old barefoot Indian girl down 200 miles away, but God knew that one day she's going to be my wife. He knew also that over 50 years later, she's still that pretty little barefoot Indian girl. But some of you girls out there got guys for you. Some of you guys out there, God's got girls for you. You trust him, you put him first in your life, And he has the power to do increasingly abundantly more than you can ever ask or think of. Now, you guys and girls are probably tickled to death that I read those out of the book and I don't just ad-lib them like this one right here, because this is probably going on twice as long as a normal catch of the day. We always end this with a fishing tip, so let me throw a fishing tip out there. Let me think real quick. February 29. The fishing tip is, this time of the year, in most clearwater lakes in the south, you can catch bass both shallow, medium depth, and in deep water. Isn't that amazing? You're saying, well, Jimmy, you can catch them all over the lake. Well, you can. The first time we put our Ranger boat in the water this year, we caught 13 bass, caught them on an American Original Deep Smoothie crankbait, and we caught those fish all in 4 foot of water or less. 4 foot of water or less. Water temperature in the mid-40s. A couple, 2 or 3 days later, I caught some bass. I caught one on a spinnerbait running about foot deep in about 2 foot of water. I caught another bass that day on a crankbait out in about 7 or 8 foot of water. And I caught another bass on a big Lucky Strike Baby Huey 9-inch worm in 25 foot of water, fishing on the bottom. So you can catch fish this time of the year in a lot of different depths. It's one of the unusual times of the year where you can catch them just wherever you want to fish pretty much. They can be more difficult to catch. You might not catch many. The day I was talking about catching them shallow, medium, and deep, that's what I caught. Three, that's it. So you might not catch many, but you can catch them in a lot of different places. We're catching a lot of fish out in 15 to 18 foot of water right now in some of our lakes in Oklahoma. That may be where the majority of the fish are, because it's where the majority of the shad are. And generally, that's something you can sort of take to the bank. It's where the majority of the bait is. That's where the majority of the fish will be. But you can catch them in a lot of different depths. Guys and girls, go out there and enjoy an extra day. It's going to be a great day for us. I'm just absolutely positive that I'm going to make it a great day. Hey, girls and guys, I love you.